All right. Hello, everybody. My name's Kevin, and today I'm going to be responding to Titicut Follies and answering the questions with this slideshow presentation that I put together. So this is the Week 5 activity, a response to Titicut Follies. So question number 1 is, what are the things that I saw and heard that make this observational? So the thing that I really noticed that stood out to me was that the filmmaker never interjects themselves into the documentary. We never see them interact with the subjects in the film as well. Like, there are no interviews, which is super different from Born into Brothels, because we do see the filmmaker. She narrates, she interviews, we see her lend her camera, right? So, but we're not seeing any of that interaction here with Titicut Follies. The filmmaker has the camera. It's purely observational. But we do get some context in other ways. We see interviews with the inmates from, I think it's a doctor, but it's never explicitly stated, that kind of give insight into the mental state of the people that we're seeing, of these men that we're seeing at this institution. So we do get context that way. The next question is, how does the way the film is shot contribute to how I feel when watching? So it's all raw footage, which is sort of unsettling. It's unedited. We don't have like a lot of context that's explicitly stated. The viewer kind of has to figure it out for themselves. There's no color, which can sort of feel a little unsettling as well. And immediately when the film opened, it opens cold. It's a cold open. It's just the title with no music, just the title, and then it cuts, hard cut to the men singing at the institution. And it's sort of odd to watch, because it's like 2 minutes straight of just grown men singing at the camera, doing weird dances, and it doesn't feel genuine. It feels really unsettling. So there's a lot of that. It's kind of a common theme in the editing. It's all hard cuts. It was made in 1967, so there was some editing and fade-ins and fade-outs. We don't have a lot of that. It's mostly hard cuts as well. And it's really intimate. We don't see a lot of different angles. Usually we're dead on, right? Eye level is what we're seeing, which it makes it feel sort of personal. But again, there's no context. There's no establishing shot. It just cuts to raw footage over and over again. So that can sort of be unsettling as well. Let's see the next question. So, were their rights violated? I think it's safe to say that they were violated for sure. I think many of these men are probably still alive. We're on the cusp of the 70s, so it really wasn't that long ago. And the viewer is we never see any explicit consent from these people that to be filmed in such a manner. So that sort of it feels uncomfortable to watch, and their rights were definitely violated at the prison. Right? You could see it on their faces that they were uncomfortable. They were being told what to do. They were being treated as if they weren't really people. It was very apparent that you could see that. Which brings me to the next question, which is, were they not giving proper respect or consideration? Again, the looks on many of their faces tell all we need to know. They looked very uncomfortable. It was very hard to watch these things, right? They were trying to cover themselves. They had no privacy at all. They were already being exploited, so at this institution, and watching them be so uncomfortable in front of the camera, probably knowing the camera's there, makes it feel very uncomfortable to watch. So they definitely were not given proper respect or consideration. And then the last thing, should the film be censored to protect the subjects in the film? I'm going to go back to this idea that they're probably still alive today. So they had no privacy in this prison that they were in, and they definitely have none now. So, that's all the more reason. I think if you're creating something fictional, the censorship doesn't really need to be there because, there is consent from the actors that, they're going to be filming explicit scenes that are going to be shown in this way. That understanding is clearly there, but here it's just not the case. They didn't give their consent for anything here at this institution. So I think now they should be censored. I think they should have been censored to begin with. And even for the time, it was probably a huge leap in, this huge progressive leap, I guess, to show something like this and nudity on the big screen. So even back then, it probably should have been censored. There was probably a lot of outrage and shock for that. So, but anyway, that's my response to The Good Follies, and that's my response to the activity this week. Thanks for watching.